Coast Guard could demand that they put the dredges out there and start pumping. They could demand that they start cleaning up the marsh. How can you let that oil sit in the marsh for over a week and not clean it up? They had no plan to keep the oil out, even though they said it wouldn't come ashore. They had no plan to clean it up. They have no plan to make the fishermen whole. It's like it's being run with a bunch of seventh graders. This is absolutely ridiculous and unacceptable. And our only hope is the president coming down on Friday will, I got to believe that he's been shielded from this, because the 2 hours he spent here in Plaquemines Parish, Coast Guard did not want us putting jack-up boats out there. He said, do you have a better plan? They said no. He said, well, then put the jack-up boats Billy wants out there. He called me the next day to make sure they were done. He showed that he cared. Friday, when he comes back, he needs to change the command that's in charge of this. The Coast Guard
let me press you on that, Mr. Nuggets. You're talking about Fat Allen, the commandant of the Coast Guard, who's the federal official in charge. You're saying he's not doing a good job.
Absolutely. He's done absolutely nothing. All he's done is give excuses. Let me tell you, for him to say, we don't think the dredge plan can be done in 4 to 6 months, a year to 2 years, when has he worked on a dredge? I've got experts who've been doing this for 30 years. You know what? It doesn't take a leader to tear apart a plan. Tell me what he's going to do. He's done absolutely nothing. He is an embarrassment to this country, and he ought to resign.
Well, he did step down yesterday, although for the time being, his tour of duty, I should say, ended yesterday, a chain of command, but he's staying on for a few more weeks at the request of the president in order to lead the federal response to this disaster. You're going to meet with the president on Friday. Now, I want you to look in the camera. Tell our viewers here in the United States and around the world what you're going to say to President Obama.
Well, I hope I'll be invited to meet with him, and I'll tell him he picked the wrong leader. This guy is no leader. All he's done is critique and criticize everything we've recommended, but he's offered no solutions in return. A leader has a plan, executes the plan. He's executed nothing but excuses. Y'all asked him on camera, are you doing absolutely everything possible to save them wetlands? You know what he did? He pointed the finger. He said BP's in charge. You ask BP, they say the Coast Guard's in charge. It's like a couple kids pointing the finger at each other. It's an embarrassment to this country.
Who's more responsible for this lack of response to what you need right now, BP or the federal government?
The Coast Guard. They have the authority to tell BP, mow up the dredges, you're paying for them. Step up to the plate. Do your job. Save faith with the American people. Everybody supported this plan, Republican, Democrat, the environmental groups who never agree. Because you know what? They all saw the alternative. They all said if we don't do something massive like that wall out there to keep the oil up, we would never clean it up. And at Pasalucha, we saw 50 miles of marsh that is dead. Next year, that pass will start 50 miles inland. And if we get a small storm, it'll blow it in 50 or 100 miles more, and we'll lose all our marshland. And it's his fault. He didn't step up to the plate and be a leader. He didn't pull the trigger when he had a chance.